Hi, Sabi desu. Please like and sabi desu.
Happy New Year, everybody! I know it's been a few days since I uploaded. It was last year since I uploaded. Now it's the New Year, and this is my first video. And I'm sorry I've been late, but I finally been able to make Erwin video now. Like I've been busy the past few days, but Erwin, this video, this is so difficult. Like for real though, like. Erwin, there's just so much to talk about and cover about him. It's just like that. But I'll do my best to explain and like help you guys with tactics with Erwin so you can use him to maximum potential. Alright, so before the video starts, just subscribe real quick and like the video. Alright, other than that, let's go ahead. Alright, first of all, to understand how Erwin works, we need to know more about Erwin first. Okay, so Erwin, he is a 5-star ground support unit. Yes, you can get him in a banner still, and in my opinion, I think he's one of the best units in the game, so definitely you would want to get him. Our main purpose, he is to buff every unit, so what you want to do usually is how he works first. Alright, let's go through how he works. So you can upgrade him, and of course people only use him at max upgrade. So if we take a look at my Erwin right now, he is level 80. So these are his level 80 stats. So basically, 89 damage, meaning 89% bonus boost. So if I were to use his ability, that's all he can do by the way. If I use his ability, and then every unit in the range of his AoE gets buffed, and you can tell with this red cross swords. And it lasts for only 30 seconds, and after 30 seconds, the crosshair is gonna disappear. And as soon as you click the Shinzo Sasageo ability button, he goes into a 1-minute cooldown. So after the buff runs out, in another 30 seconds, it'll come back. Alright, so that's one. Number two is that you need to know that Erwin is stackable. Up to a certain point, of course. So how it works is, say if I were to use a level 1 Erwin. So alright, so I'll go through the tactics now. So with level 1 Erwin, what you want to do is use the choo-choo train. I called it. I used to use this back then. Yeah, the choo-choo train. So basically, alright, what you want to do is click the Erwin that you already placed down first. This is your main range, okay? So go with your second Erwin, and then your third one. Alright, and then your fourth one. Okay, and then your fifth one. And then the sixth, make sure you keep each other out of each other's range. Like the Erwins. Out of like, make sure there's no 2 Erwins if you want to do the choo-choo train thing. So this is to be done with level 1 Erwin because their damage buff thing is not too high. Alright. Okay, max Erwin. So if I was using a level 1 Erwin right now, right? So I would do the choo-choo train. So I would stack this, stack this, like this. They would pass on their damage percentage buff to one another. So all the way to the first one. Alright, so this is the first choo-choo train. Now if you were doing like infinite mode with a duo buddy, if you both have level 1 Erwin, then I guess both of you need to bring your Erwin. If it's level 80, only one person needs to bring it. So level 1 Erwin, you would do a second choo-choo train, your partner would. So carry on like this, and like this, and like this. And then what you want to do is interchangeably use the Erwin buff. So when one person buff runs out, the second one continues. Alright, so for choo-choo train, every time the Erwin stack runs through for full, it would increase the thing for, it would increase the buff for 100% damage. For level 1 Erwin, of course. Now if you have a level 80 Erwin, like me, you'd be able to do the 200% stack. Like 200% stack is the maximum amount which Erwin can buff, which is 200% only. So if I were to, I would only need 3 Erwins if it was max level, like so. And then buff all the way. You see it's 240%, but in reality it only allows for a 200% buff. So any more than this it won't buff. So as you can see, my Kaido had like, actually I don't remember, let me find out. Yeah, my Kaido had 270 damage, and then the new one has 810. And if I were to divide 810 by 3, I would get 270, which means that these two Erwins got buffed by 200%. So yeah, that is the Erwin triple buff. One of the reasons why Erwin is so OP is that he can triple buff anything, including Light Yagami. So Light Yagami has 30,000 damage, so if I were to triple buff for Light Yagami, he would be able to one-shot everything in the map for 100k damage each. And this will allow you to rack up a lot of damage as well, which you can get gems. Now of course, Erwin can also buff as many units as you want, so everything in the range, literally everything gets buffed. Alright guys, now I'm gonna show you what they call a triple Erwin buff. So this, like this, I want to set up my first Erwin, set up my second Erwin, and then my third one, I can put it here, but usually what I do is I keep them close, just as long as you keep it out of the first person's range, first Erwin, so you can just put him here. Okay, so triple Erwin buff. Now first, second, and third triple Erwin buff, and then this one gets the full buff. Now if you would like to make it infinite, okay, I can sell these now. If you would like to make it infinite, you would do this instead. Actually not instead, you just have to add on a second stream of Erwin right under it. There you go, now it's infinite. So how's it work is that, alright, so as soon as this one goes off, I'm gonna include a timer, and I can, to help you guys visualize how it's done. So first of all, my first Erwin, buff, 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 and then they go into a 1 minute timer of the cooldown ability, and they are buffed for 30 seconds. They have this buff on for 30 seconds, and then as soon as these guys runs out of their buff, my other Erwin would be available for buffing. And how much did this cost? This cost like what, $6,000 for the first stream, and the second stream would cost another $6,000, so it's $12,000 to set up, but it's really worth it. Now as you can see, my second Erwin is done, so I can constantly buff this Kaido. Yeah, see? Alright, and the cooldown should be done. Alright, as soon as you see the guys disappear, it means that the buff is over and you continue buffing. Now keep in mind that you can only buff units who don't have the axis above their head. Alright, so basically that is how the triple Erwin buff works. And of course I can add on any units. And naturally, it also works on abilities too, like Kira's ability. So if you were to take a look at his damage and I do a triple Erwin buff, look at it, 53,000 damage. So if I were to right name, it would do 53,000 damage each to each guy. Yeah, could have instantly killed the boss, but nah, I don't wanna end this yet. So if you would like to have an extended range of something, like say if you want to abuse this range too, right? So what you would do is use your second Erwin, and just make sure that you put him in the range of like the Erwin and not the other, so they don't overlap the stack, like so. So I put him at the really corner, and okay, this one is okay, so I can buff this one and buff this one. Now this one will have the triple buff now, so anything in this range also receives a triple buff. Like so, if I were to include some Rengoku, now these guys are gonna get triple buff too. And for this Erwin, he's also gonna extend the buff over here, so triple buff as well. So basically this is the infinite triple buff thing which you can do. And if you would like to have an extension cord, here it is. You can just put out any Erwin and continue the stream. Alright, now, and for the last method, we have the infinite square Erwin method. Actually, if you're wondering, all these names, I just came them up by myself, so it's just based on how they look like. Okay, but anyways, if I were to put this Erwin down, I'm using 4 Erwins only. This method is good for infinite mode because you will only need 4 Erwins and it would be the maximum efficiency. But here's the thing about this method is really difficult. Not really, but there's a chance where you can mess it up and it's reps. So basically, if you wanna use this method, you only need 4 Erwins and you have to constantly keep your eye on Erwin. Okay, so how is this gonna work? So you have your Erwin, right? So it's like everything in every range. You don't have to worry about like being in what range. Everything in the whole thing, like this circle and this circle, they're both gonna get buffed at the same time. So these two are a pair. How you want to see them is like a linkage. So these two are together and this is together, okay? So kind of want to see them like the infinite triple buff thing where you activate one line at a time. So this is the first line and then the second line. Okay, so if I want to put more, okay, I'll just put like this one out of this range. So for example, now I'll put something in between two. Okay, so how you would do this, what you want to do is activate the first link. Alright, activate the first link and then maybe like 3 seconds after, okay, activate the first link second Erwin. So can like the timer's running and all, and then after which you would want to prepare to use your second Erwin, the second link, like so. Alright, timer is almost up. So as soon as you see the buff disappear, you want to activate it. Okay, activate. And the second one's, okay, it's gone, activate again. So what it's doing right now is that it's buffing one another like before the thing expires. So they're kind of charging up right now. They're kind of doing a charge up thing where they're going to the max buff. So in another repetition, I'd be able to get the full 200% buff. Okay, so this one's almost ready. It's about 30 seconds now. Okay. Alright. Okay, if I were to fail to buff any of them at the same time, or like overlap the buff, it's over, man. I gotta restart the whole entire buffing thing. So right now, they are all at 200% right now. So it would take like 1 link, 2 link, and then the third link when it comes back. The first link, second time when it comes back. It's gonna have the full buff of 200%. And you can keep this up. So in the meantime, while you're doing this method, alright, buff. And then buff again. Now you have some free time, so you can go like manage other stuff like swiping with your like Yagami, or if you have like Dio and Jotaro, you can go do time stop. But as soon as that 30 seconds runs out, you gotta run back and be like, hey yo, I'm ready, man, I'm ready. And you gotta kind of remember which one it is, which I already forgotten, so I'll have to check which one I buffed. Okay, what's the top one? Okay, so buff again, and then when it's out, buff again. Alright, so this is the infinite square method. Now, this is the first example. I want to show you another example of the infinite square method, which is safer. Yeah, it's safer to do it this way. Alright, so I just resetted both my Erwins, and right now I will okay, so the second link is ready, so I'm gonna use it first. So what I want to do is buff the first Erwin, buff, and then I'm gonna wait 15 seconds for this Erwin to buff this Erwin. Alright, and then I'll explain. Okay, so it's about 15 seconds now. Okay, I can bump it now. Okay, so why do I leave 15 seconds? Because 15 seconds is a long enough time for you to manage other stuff. And like, okay, so how it works is that, you know how there's a link in between? So when there's the link in between, and if you buff both the Erwins at the same time with a difference of 2 seconds, you have 2 seconds only to buff one Erwin back, right? Like, you know, like, well, you know what I'm talking about? Like, 2 seconds? Yeah. So, if I were to put 15 seconds instead, I would have plenty of time to, you know, not mess up, you know, do other stuff, run around and stuff. But right now, if I have 15 seconds, like, that's a long time. But if I have 2 seconds, I have to constantly keep my eye, and I could lag for like 1 second, and then, you know, like, I just mess up the whole thing and I have to restart. And if it's like wave 50, you're gone, man, and your partner's gonna beat you up for messing this. But then, as you can see, I am missing. I don't know which one is the one I buff at. With 15 seconds, you know, I don't have to instantly activate, so I can just, you know, take my time, something like that. Or, you know, run around, and then, you know, like, I'm doing other stuff, I'm chatting, I'm not paying attention, but then, like, you know, as time passes by, as you walk around, and then you notice, oh my god, I forgot to buff my Erwin, and, you know, you have plenty of time, like, to buff it again. So yeah, that's why leaving like a long time in between is kind of good. So instead of doing like 1 2 1 2, you do like 1 15 seconds later, 1 15 seconds later, 1 15 seconds later, 1. Yeah. So this is the safer way to do the infinite square method. But if you're like a hardcore gamer, maybe the previous one is better for you because you don't want to come back every 15 seconds to do this thing. Yeah. But anyways, yeah, I guess that's about it for Erwin. So Erwin, kind of difficult to explain, sorta, but if you get him, you get him. It's actually not that hard. But basically, you know, they just like pass on their stack to one another. This unit is so busted to make everyone have 200% buff. Like, sheesh, if you want to break like infinite records and stuff like that, you are gonna need to bring Erwin, because everyone's gonna have 100k HP and then you won't be able to do anything. Like, for reals. But yeah, anyways, hope you learned something from this video. Like, if you enjoyed, like, subscribe, and if you learned something, I hope you learned something. Like, I hope my explanations are pretty good, and my visualizations for you guys. Okay, so other than that, you know, maybe next video I'll do a Kaido showcase. I don't know. I'll see. But other than that, Happy New Year again, everyone. Have a nice day. See ya.